We'll be starting in under 8 minutes. Start asking your questions now. Happy Friday, everybody. My name is Stephen Pope. I'm the founder of My Amazon Guy. And like we do every Friday at noon Eastern Standard Time, I come and answer any Amazon question. You can literally ask me anything about Amazon, PPC, design, SEO, catalog troubleshooting, brand registry issues. The list goes on. Let me know how the mic is today. As a matter of an announcement, we have our newest course launching on Amazon. We have not announced this on social media yet. This just went live moments ago. And in it's how to launch everything from start to finish on Amazon. We also have, this is something I teased last time. We have the infographics course, $25 a month subscription, and you get access to all of the nifty infographics we've ever created. And there's a lot of them. I mean, just look at how many are in the list here. Just several hundred different infographics with all kinds of tips. Jeff, I know you're watching. I know you signed up for that already. Thanks for signing up for that. Appreciate it quite a bit. If you want us to do an ASIN review today, please use the $10 super sticker button. We saw Kios. Thank you. I had to look up the COP currency. I think that's Colombian pesos. So thank you for this donation today. And with that said, we'll dive right in to our questions. We're going to prioritize member questions and sticker questions. And then if we have time, we'll get to some of our friends who have not become members yet. If you want to become a member of our channel, youtube.com/myamazonguy, click on that join button. All right, lots of great ways you can support the channel and give me a reason to show up on Fridays. But with that said, let's dive on in. So David says, I have a brand registry and I want to sell on another company's brand item. I'm authorized as a dealer, but I want to bundle it with one of my items. Do I buy a new UPC and list it as my own brand? That's exactly how I would do it. There's probably some debate about how to best do it, but that's exactly how I would do it. You're going to want to put it under your own brand because then you have A+ content, you have all the control, especially if you're putting one of your own branded items into the kit. This is exactly the best practice. Really good question, David. Kyo says, hi, Stephen, feeling pretty frustrated with a conversion rate below 4%. I've watched every single one of your videos. That's a lot of videos, Kyo. I mean, there's 1,100 of them. So I believe you, though. I believe you. I've done my best to do everything you say, yet I'm not having any success. It very well could be you have a bad item. But if we want to do an ASIN review, we'll need the, I think, didn't he do the donation? He did. All right, we're going to do the ASIN review for him today. So let's take a look, and I'm pulling that up on screen. So we're going to go over to Amazon and type in. We have to do this manually because we can't put a link into the chat. And here we go. So let's dive in and take a look. Thank you for the super sticker donation to do an ASIN review today. And we've got the Alonder store. I do see a discrepancy between what you're leading with and the brand attribute there. And I don't know if you probably trademarked the lowercase. Yep, looks like you did. So I would try and get some parity between those two. That's a super minor thing. So this, I think that this category is overdeveloped. I think this is the #1 problem. And there's just a lot of people selling this sort of stuff. I think your imagery, though, is fantastic. Main image did a really good job. It's cropped well. You can showcase the item. So that's really, really strong. One thing I would change about this image if I could is I'd have her eyes open and looking at the camera. But the graphics, I mean, these are just phenomenal, really well done overall. So I don't think it's a question of design. I don't think this is a question of optimization. You have the brand story, excuse me. And by the way, guys, I cannot believe how many people still don't have their brand story up. It is such a critical thing. Really need to get it going. Just really nice looking design. So clearly not a page optimization issue. So maybe it's the price, $36. How many people are willing to spend $36 for a box with sand in it? That's the question, right? And if we look at some of the data, you can see you're messing with the price quite a bit, trying to go up and down, see what you can do to get it moving. Almost no effect, no matter what you've done, as far as we can see right here. Probably what I would do is I would go down to $20 for 2 weeks and see if you can get some momentum. If it still doesn't sell at $20, then it's totally the item, and there's no recovery. But you've been trying to do this since June 15th, so you're still kind of just exiting the honeymoon period stage. You really need to get sales in the door. It's definitely not a listing optimization issue. The listing looks really, really good. I honestly, I usually never give anybody an A when I do these listing reviews, but sincerely, A minus. Really, really good. The only thing that would have made it an A for me is the face shot. But if we look at, all the keyword rankings, you're right in the Goldilocks zone, that golden ratio of keywords, 1 sponsored keyword to 2 organic. That's fantastic. And the fact that you're doing 900 index keywords and the unit is only at the BSR of roughly 300,000 tells me that your listing is super optimized. So it's not a listing optimization issue of any kind. This to me is a demand issue, or it's a pricing issue. And if I were you, I would start with lowering the price and see what comes up. So there, we triggered one of your ads. You're not priced incorrectly, but you are competing against lots of other similar products. And as we look here, this looks almost identical to theirs, right? But they've got 700 reviews. And so that's the biggest challenge. I just think there's a lot of competition selling this particular thing. I mean, there's no differentiation between these products. Like, what's the difference between one box with sand and another box with sand? It's going to make the same impression for most people. So I think you're going to have to go down on price, generate some sales, and then slowly raise the price up where you're profitable at that $35 range. So pretty confident on that recommendation. It's going to be all about the price. All right, let's go. Let's make sure we get the super stickers first. So we'll do Old Hickory, then let's get Cool Peeps, and then Karen, based on what I see in the chat here. Hey, Stephen, has the back-end keywords limit been reduced? I noticed on a couple of listings, it seems to be less than 250 bytes now. Not to my knowledge. I have got a screenshot that came in yesterday to the podcast email. Somebody was saying that they had the 5 fields, and it was a little bit different. Honestly, this is probably just Amazon testing a few things. Maybe some old tech is showing up accidentally in the categorizations. There's certain categories that you can do certain things, for example, but to my knowledge, there's no major overall change of any kind. So if we go into the back end, I'll just pull up one of my listings right now, live, go to the keyword section. Here you can see I still have the single keyword section in the home goods. And if we type in something right here, we're going to get the classic error message that's going to come up here. Please reduce your generic keyword length down to less than 250 bytes, right? And I do the enunciation emphasis there on the bytes because I like people to remember things with mnemonic devices, and even if it's a weird one. The fact of the matter is it's 250 bytes, doesn't count spaces. So if you're only doing 250 characters, you're missing out on 20% of your juice there. And by the way, guys, I have a bunch of information on this. If you go over to myamazonguy.com/SEO, we have a bunch of awesome information about SEO, including our SEO phase 1 guide. If you guys want to check that out, go over to myamazonguy.com/SEO, and you can get a bunch of information, including the 250 bytes announcement. We also link to our SEO course if you want to check that out. And then my ICAP marketing funnel, which is also one of the biggest groundbreaking things we got access to this year. Really, really, really powerful way. So for those that don't remember what ICAP stands for, it's impressions, clicks, add to carts, purchases. You can use the search query performance report, which I have bookmarked. I can go into any one of my brands right now, check on the progress, and that Sage Candles for Cleansing House keyword, which you guys have heard me talk about a few times. So if I type in ICAP into my computer here, I'm going to pull up the graphic. Here is my use case. I tripled my market share on impressions, clicks, add to carts, and purchases, basically all the way down through the funnel by paying attention to this report. This keyword was at the top of my search query performance report, went in, focused on it, made a big improvement. So if you guys want to learn more about the ICAP funnel, I have a page built for that as well, myamazonguy.com/ICAP, and all of my best information on this funnel, impressions, clicks, add to carts, purchases, all listed here with examples of how to do all that good stuff. This is one of our newest graphics. We released this one yesterday. How to know if a main photo needs to be updated. And I didn't know if this one was going to resonate or not, to be totally honest. I was worried that it wouldn't make sense. But essentially, we used the Black Widow shape on the on the funnel, and anything, whenever you have like the clicks as the weak spot, but your impression share is fine. Let's say you're at 5% impression share. It dips down to 2% on the clicks and goes back up to at 5% on the add to carts. That literally means your main photo's got a problem. It's got a problem because it's not generating the clicks. It's got a problem because you're not generating the conversions as well as you possibly could. So there's kind of the Black Widow shape, if you will. Probably one of the most hardest to articulate thoughts that I've had trying to get into a graphic before. So that's kind of why I went the Black Widow route. Okay, let's go to the next question. Let's make sure we get the sticker donations first. Cool Peeps. Hey, hi, Steven. Happy Friday. Thanks for everything you do for our community. You're very welcome. Part 1, I'm launching a new SKU. It was fine when I set it up, but just today I saw an error message of value for externally assigned product identifier is longer than the allowed maximum. Let's see part 2 here. 12 characters, but I have a 13-digit EAN UPC code. What should I do? I'm afraid if I delete the listing, then my already in shipment inventory from China will not match the code. Okay, so I have seen this error message before, and it is a question of the digits. So a UPC code is how many digits? I'm trying to remember off the top of my head, so I'm Googling it. So UPC code should be 12 digits, I believe. And then the EAN is 13. So I'm basing it off of this Google search right here. UPC is 12 digits, EAN is 13. So cool Peeps, my question for you is, which of the two do you have? And make sure on the drop down on your inventory page, it matches. So for example, this field right here, which generally, by the way, I don't recommend having the ASIN in the product ID field. It's way better to have the UPC or EAN. So I usually recommend doing a template upload to rectify that. And then, so like this is a UPC, the 370 number right here, that's 12 digits. That's the UPC. And if it's in that field, you'd be good to go. If you have an EAN though, and you're doing the 13 digits, but you're marketing as the UPC, that's the problem. You need to market the one that's equivalent. So just double check that field, do a template upload to try and clear it, file a ticket if that doesn't work. But I think this is a relatively minor thing. Definitely don't delete the listing. Do a template upload to get it fixed. In my listing for the generic keyword field, I now see the error value for generic keyword is longer than the allowed maximum 250 bytes. So 250 bytes, that is the standard. So go ahead and shorten it below 250 bytes. There's no spaces. It's not characters. And check out the resources I mentioned a few minutes ago, the myamazonguy.com/SEO. That'll help you rectify that. Jason, what are you doing watching my thread while you're on vacation, sir? Yes, it's time to shave again. You're right. I'm a balding man. I look like Jason. We're the bald twinners here. Karen, what percentage of back-end search terms should be dedicated to important words that are already on the front end of the listing versus unique words that are not on the front end? Of the 249 bytes, how do we allocate? And Geraldine, be sure to show the donation as well so people know that, like, hey, that's why we're going there. So Karen, the way to answer this question is to talk about our multiple phases of SEO. So in phase 1, it's all about indexing. And so when you're in phase 1 SEO, you want to put the best keywords in the search term field. So no matter what you're putting in the title or the bullets, stuff it in the search term field. Phase 2, however, any word that's in the title or the bullets can safely be removed from the search term field. And that's allowing for incremental indexing. Phase 3, throw the rules out of phase 1 and 2 entirely. Just focus on the keywords that are ranked 20 through 50. Those are the strike zone keywords. And finally, phase 4, it's the market share. And market share, you go to the search query performance report, the ICAP marketing funnel, impressions, clicks, add to carts, and purchases. And in the ICAP, you're chasing words that are at the top of the market share opportunity report and trying to chase additional market share. So those are the high-level definitions of the SEO phases that we've come up with at My Amazon Guy. And I am the mastermind behind the strategy behind those phases and why we do what we do. But in terms of the allocation during phase 2, you should have 0% allocation in the back end if it's on the front end. But during phase 3, there's no target. There's no KPI for this because you're literally going to put whatever the focus keyword is into all fields, regardless of anything else. So if your target keyword was sage candles for cleansing house, and I use this example a lot because of the result that we had, right? So if we open up, I pull it off screen here. Here we go. So ICAP marketing funnel, impressions, clicks, add to carts, purchases. If you are focused on the keyword sage candles for cleansing house, you're going to have that in the search term field. You're going to have that in the title, the bullets, the A+ content, the alt text, everywhere you possibly can. And you ignore all the preceding rules. So hopefully that answers your question, Karen. Have you noticed sales across Amazon increasing? Since mid-July, my sales have soared and my tacos has been cut in half. Karen, I think you have an isolated case, quite frankly. I think you're having some success. Most people don't come to talk about their good sales. Usually people come to us and say, my sales are down. What do I do? What do I do to get help? Generally speaking, not a lot of people are talking about increase in sales. We're in a recession. Even if the government wants to change the definition of a word, and they're really good at changing definitions of word. 2 quarters of receding GDP growth, that's a recession. I think we're actually in a depression, just nobody's going to know it for a year or two. And it's a major layoff. So if your sales are growing in mid-July, when it's the weakest month of the year, you're doing something right, Karen. And Karen, I've watched your listings. I've seen the improvements. You've been following our advice. And I like to feel pretty good that some of the things we've talked and helped you with are making a difference right now. So congratulations on that. You're doing good. You're doing better than most, quite frankly. Josh says, happy Friday, Steven. I sent a box of inventory to Amazon over a month and a half ago. Still says inbound. Sent another package on the same date. Checked it on the same time. Did they lose my inventory? Not necessarily, but at least a 5% chance they did lose the inventory. You'll have to wait 45, 60 days until you can request for the inventory to be reimbursed. It's a really big pain in the ass. One thing I also recommend that you do is consider signing up for an automated service like my refund guy. This is a service that we offer. First $500 on the house, just to prove we can do it for you. So it's a nice little service offering. And then after that, we charge 25%. And we'll do all the ticketing. You'll have a dashboard. You can see all the proof. That'll check down those lost damaged units, lost inbound shipments, and much more. So feel free to check that out. But you're going to have to wait like 60 days to get the reimbursement. File the ticket. Big pain in the ass. Tion says, if I close my PPC entirely from January to September, then in the QA, should I open up the existing PPC campaigns or create new campaigns? Which campaigns? Auto, broad, exact. My product is seasonal, by the way. I would use the old campaigns, and I would also create a couple of new ones. And make sure you're looking at the trend data, because there will be some new keywords that were not in the old campaigns. 100% reopen the auto, 100% reopen the broads, and be selective on some of the exacts. Maybe be a little bit more delicate on those because the data is going to be totally different. But yes, generally speaking, even with seasonal items, I will leave the ads on with just super low bids, like 2-cent bids, even in the off season, and it will generally work for me. But it's not unusual for somebody with a seasonal item to do exactly what you're doing. But you're going to want to recover all of those old campaigns. That past data still helps. Some of the data will help Amazon know like which keywords to display in the advertising. So it's going to be helpful for you. Jeffrey, verified customer, left a 1-star review. Ouch. That is clearly about a different product I don't sell. Amazon will remove the review. Can you recommend steps to take the best chance of resolution? Yes, I can. However, 3% chance for success. And we have a guide on this, and I'll post a link to this for you. But what I would do is I would file multiple tickets. Once you get about 5 tickets deep, and you can follow my guide that we're going to show you on screen here, how to remove negative product reviews. Here are pre-written scripts that we have found that have worked best. And if you can see right here, wrong product right here. The following, there's 2 responses we've had success with. The following negative review is about the wrong product, which violates Amazon's community guidelines under be helpful and relevant. We're requesting this be removed, right? And that's because it's not relevant. It's not helpful. for a review about an entirely different product to stamp. So file multiple tickets on that, Jeffrey, and then do an escalation ticket over to jeff@amazon.com and basically just show, here's a screenshot of my product, here's a screenshot of theirs. This is not the right product review. Your system is not working. Please remove my review. That may seem like a very small thing to do an escalation email for up to Jeff at Amazon, but that's an executive seller communication tree, and I totally recommend using it more and more right now because seller support is so bad right now, right? Like you guys have seen my memes. I've posted quite a few of them. I'm praying to Jeff Bezos, please, seller support, stop sucking. You're so bad. Like, just give me a non-copy paste response. Please help solve my problem. And it just doesn't happen, right? Like, so just really big deal. So Karen, Cool Peeps, and others, thanks for the donations today. Josh, let's go to his question. What do you think about the new expanded product targeting? So with all new things, I always test them. I don't think there's enough data at this stage to say whether it's going to work or not. Amazon's out of space with their advertising modules. Honestly, I have a slightly negative prediction on expanded product targeting, to be truthful. I think that you're going to have a little higher ACOS with it. But the reason I think Amazon came out with it is because there's no more room on the search page. And so they're trying to get some expanded product targeting where you're showing up on the detailed pages. And the way this works is you'll target, like, let's say 3 or 4 ASINs. You target those ASINs, you select expanded product. They'll target like products like that. And it's kind of similar to category targeting, but a little bit more tailored. It's almost like broad match modifiers, very similar to that, in my opinion. So I'm speculative at this stage, Josh. TikTok store. Will this be the next big thing? Oh, man, I tried to resist TikTok for a very long time. I'm starting to dip my toes in a little bit more and more. I don't think I'm the right guy for TikTok. I don't think I'm going to be a TikTok star. But yes, I do think TikTok stores are going to be a thing. And the reason is because we're going to have consumers that are interested in what people are talking about, get millions of hits on something. And of course, what do they want to do? They want to buy what's in the video. And so we're seeing a lot of success with user-generated content, driving traffic over to Amazon. This is going to be a thing. I am not the TikTok expert. I don't know how to best do it. We are trying to leverage it the best we can and learn it, because I think there are some untapped opportunities here. Hey, Jeff, what do you do when you try to change categories and Amazon's system based on customer searches? We are not going to let you change. The ASIN was put in the category by mistake. Simply refile those brand registry tickets. Google category change, My Amazon Guy. You'll find our guide on this with a video. And then just refile it several times. And then once they reject it 2 or 3 times and you've escalated it, send that email to Jeff at Amazon. Literally, this is the play right now. It's going to sound very basic and you're like, wow, I'm listening to Steven just say, do the same thing over and over. But that's literally the play right now. 2 or 3 responses, replies, escalations. Seller support sucks. Escalate it further. Amazon is a culture of escalation. They need to do way more escalation than they're currently doing. I've already opened a BE case and tried to change it on the back end. I'm not sure if you mean back end by BE, and then brand registry tickets are definitely the place to go. Category changes, brand registry is the only place you can make these changes. Our review merges for variation by category. They don't always merge. That's correct. We saw like sports and what was a couple other ones I saw that stopped merging reviews. But they kind of backtracked on that and they kind of started combining them again. It's kind of one of those weird moving targets we haven't really heard a lot about in the last 18 months. But I do think for the most part, most categories reviews are merging pretty good right now. Is A+ content going to be rolled out to all SC sellers? That would be news to me. I think Amazon's going to keep that to just brand registered. So you got to be a brand registered seller. Kirk from Facebook. Hi, Steve. Been watching your live sessions. Happy YouTube subscriber here. Well, you're over on Facebook then. Hang out with us on YouTube. I'm just kidding. It's fine. You can watch me on Facebook. No big deal. Thanks, Kirk. Appreciate that. Barack says, my competitor is trying to sell similar products with higher price, but he's advertising heavily. What can I do to prevent him to steal my sales? Well, you have a choice here. You can match his competitive advertising or you're going to lose market share. There's no way around it, right? Like You either have to play ball or choose to play a different game, right? Either you're playing baseball or you're playing soccer or you're playing football, right? Like you got to make a choice which game you're playing and stick to it. Because if you are gonna have competitors selling with higher price, so you're beating them on price, so you might be able to get away with not matching the advertising. Personally, quite frankly, I think if I were you, I would set up special advertising campaigns to target his ASIN, especially since he's a higher price. You can get away with lower ACOS attribution by trying to steal some of those offensive ASIN product targeting campaigns. So I definitely would recommend that. Fahad says, I have a PPC ad running so far, 14 clicks, 1 conversion, but I generated 12 organic sales. My ACOS is 82%, but 44% for the week. Should I ignore ACOS performance on a day like this or adjust bids? So I would say 14 clicks is not enough data to understand what's going on. The other thing I would say is if you're getting 12 organic sales and this is a new item, the PPC 100% helped make that happen. And so I would go ahead and let that run farther. I just don't think you have enough data to make any conclusions. But if you're in the honeymoon period, overspend on PPC and make sure in the first 30 days you're generating as many unit sales as you possibly can, because that's going to really help your organic. Jaleel says, I see you pushing for everyone to have their own brand store completed, but what if you only have one product? Yes, still make a brand store. I might be even able to demonstrate this. So my brand store, not necessarily the sexiest thing in the world, but if we went to, and it looks like my team actually just updated this store, so it's actually different than it was before. But we do have probably a page or two. Let's see, where did the incense sticks get moved? I don't even know. So we got the soaps, we got the tumblers, the gift boxes. Where did they move the incense to? Occasions? No. For him? No. For her? No. It's like we just like flat out deleted the incense. All right, that's cool. Geraldine, if you could make a post in the Sage channel and remind them that we need to put the incense back into the store, that'd be fantastic. But in any case, you could have one of these sub pages or just even the main homepage just be all about one product. We've done that before, and I'm wondering where we might have a good example to showcase this. I'm obviously not finding one on the fly here, but sometimes you can have sub pages with lots of different products, and you can have tumblers like we have here. And it looks like we got an out of stock one. We got to get that one removed. Geraldine, tell them to remove the out of stock products as well from the Tumblr page. And then on occasion, we got birthday. Not a day over fabulous. That's the only thing we're putting in birthday. Oh man, we got to do a lot better on our store. There's a lot more things I could put in birthday. Baby shower, mommy. Okay, that one's okay. That's good. But we could use more information in these sub pages. Housewarming. Well, the incense got put into the housewarming category. All right, sounds good. But you could have an entire sub page or one store page about one product. Just put a video in there, go in depth. You'd be totally fine. Maybe I'm just kind of, this is coming to my head kind of on the fly here. The We page it's got two products technically, but it's like one concept, right? So like you could have the video, the product, more pictures of the product, how you use it, demonstrations, who it's trusted by, a lot of things you could do for a single product store, but 100% need to have it done. Because if you don't, what happens if you don't have the brand store built? When somebody clicks on your brand name, it goes to a search page of your competitors. And you don't want that to happen. Karen says, have you noticed sales across? We did this one. Let's go to the next. Janessa says, I've done a template upload and all cent size variations of my product were successfully created. Good. However, I only see 2 of my 6 cent variations. Support not very helpful. Let me ask you this. Are they all in stock? Because if they're not, of course you wouldn't see the other ones. Amazon's Parentage logic will default to the in-stock products. I get this question frequently from new sellers who have a Parentage and they don't have everything shipped in or live yet with active inventory. And then they get confused and they're like, well, I hit ed on this and then it's not showing up. If it's not that, come back to me, let me know, Janessa. But if it's an out of stock issue, you're fine. There's no problems. Jeff says, how do you differentiate your listing in SERP and Best Sellers pages? I'm not sure I understand that question, Jeff, but I'm going to kind of extrapolate a little bit here. So here's the SERP. This is the search engine results page. That's how we're going to define that. If we looked at an actual listing, and we were looking at one today, and we go to the category ranks, right? So if we go over here, this would be the top 100. This would be the best sellers page, just like this. And so the item pretty much looks the same, right? Here's the, let's go back to the search page again. Here's what an item looks like on the search page. Here's what an item looks like on the best sellers. So how would I differentiate my listing on these pages? Well, first of all, if you see a category that has the same sort of trends, right? And you go off trend, and I do have an example of this. So for my tumbler, see how I have a pink tumbler right here? And let's see if I can go to the, yeah, this is like one of our best sellers. So this product right here, I went to market with pink. Everybody else was doing teal. And because I did pink, even though the market was smaller for pink, but because nobody else was doing pink, I got higher amount of sales compared to the regular teal listings. Sometimes you need to do something that will be eye-catching or different to win the niche. So the most important thing that you do to set yourself aside or differentiate is to make your main image slightly different, more attractive, include the accessories, show more about the product and whatnot. So that's how I would differentiate in search. It's all about the main photo. The title, not so relevant. Nobody's reading titles on the search page. They're looking at the images, maybe a little bit on price, but I'd say like 70%, they're looking at the main image. I do have a really cool video coming out on Monday where I give you, is it Monday? Let me double check. Next week though, I've got a video for sure coming out on the best hack to fixing a listing, and it is switching the main image. And that video will come out on August 2nd. So that's a Tuesday. So #1 sales hack on Amazon, fix the main image. Got a new member coming in from Dante. Thanks for joining the channel. We really appreciate it. We always prioritize member questions. And if you're a new member, we'll get to you next. Let's do Ryan Gu after this one. I applied for brand registry for my brand and it got denied. So I tried to reapply for it, but it's giving me an error message saying brand name is still under review. But it got denied, but still showing pending. Tried to reopen the case for it, but it tells me it's been closed. What should I do? So I would go ahead and refile the brand registry from scratch. If it says it's already in review, then file a technical ticket with brand registry to see if they can resolve it for you. Brand registry issues are extremely common. Keep filing cases. Show them that you have the trademark. It's a 1A status. You'll be fine. This will just take a few days to sort out, but it's totally rectifiable. Just keep refiling the application every 48 hours and filing responses to tickets and restating the problem and keep escalating. You have to keep filing tickets and escalate until you get it solved. But you'll be all right. It'll work out. Ryan Gu, ACOS is trending higher. Is it me or slower month? So see how Karen has the complete opposite experience that Ryan Gu does, right? July is the worst month of the year for sales. This is when most people take vacations, highest vacation month of the year. Got a big holiday in the middle of the month, first of the month with July 4th. A lot of people doing outside activities. They're not on their computers. They're not shopping. They're barbecuing. They're launching some fireworks in the good old American fashion way, right? This is the slower month. ACOS will trend higher because there's just simply not as many consumers. There's the same number of sellers, still the same number of products being sold, but way less consumer demand in the month of July. It is the weakest month of the year. This is why Amazon made up Prime Day, made up holiday. And we broke the news the other day that Amazon's coming out with a second Prime Day in October, right? Which is not good for sellers, in my opinion. Not good for us at all. It's going to be good for Amazon, but not good for Amazon sellers. And so, unfortunately, it is a slower month. So this is why it's common practice to discount in the month of July and try and just get across the finish line where you can, keep your staff busy, that sort of stuff. But with a hyperinflation scenario, inflation's like 25%, triple whatever the government tells you because they're lying. and you need to raise your prices, and it's slow. It's a rough combination, really, really rough combination. Fahad says, I'm from the UK, so creating virtual product bundles are not possible at the moment, USA only. Are virtual product bundles important for building your brand on Amazon? Why aren't you offering a bundle of your own? So the virtual bundle only displays on the main listing, and the way that the sales are tracked is it's not tracked at the bundle listing. So it actually makes it really hard to know whether a bundle is good or whether it's bad. And so because of that, it's hard to track, it's hard to articulate, and hard to advocate for. So the way that I view virtual bundles is as follows. They're a defensive play. You're not going to be able to offensively generate new customers, new orders. But what they do is they allow you to take more space on the product page. And because there's 100 other competing products showing up on your own product page, taking up as much space as possible is a great idea. That's why when we build out our A+ contents and all those good things, we take up as much space as possible. So let's demonstrate that. So here's a normal listing and product page. So we scroll down. Here's where the virtual bundle would show. We've got the Chrome extension kind of populating. Get your frequently bought together. And then here's a row of ads, followed by brand story. Notice how I can click on other products. This is why the brand story, newest module, most important thing everybody needs to get done if they don't have it done yet. And then followed by A+ content. Big, gigantic photos. I take up as much space as I possibly can. Product grid, link to other products. But by taking up as much space as possible, whether it's the brand story, whether it's the A+ content, whether it's a virtual bundle, taking up space is the goal of Amazon for a detail page optimization. And that's so you don't lose the consumer down the rabbit hole to somebody else's product. Karen says, what percentage of back-end search terms should be dedicated to important... We did this one already. Gregor says, if I have an idea of a product which I visualize as really beneficial for my actual niche, but not knowing any data search volume, what would you suggest? To laugh, or is it risky to launch, I'm guessing? Okay, so visualize as really beneficial for my actual niche, but not knowing any data search volume. Well, I'll say this. If you believe the product is in demand, you personally understand the product, go ahead and launch it. The data should be used to back up your selection. If there's no data available, you have what's called a demand generation product. The other type of product is demand co-opt. So when we looked at the Zen box today, that was a demand co-op. She wasn't creating anything new. It was just the regular box with sand in it, right? Now, the demand generation product is going to solve a problem you didn't know existed. It's going to be sliced bread before anybody was buying sliced bread. And 20 times harder to launch a demand gen product, but when you succeed, the payout is 50 times bigger, right? 20 times harder, 50 times bigger. And if you get a demand gen product off the ground, it's a big winner. So Gregor, the question is your demand gen product going to succeed? Impossible to predict. No amount of crystal ball can predict that. You need to make that decision yourself based on how you feel about how much money you're willing to spend to prove yourself wrong. So invest accordingly with that in mind. Junessa, newest member of the channel, thanks for joining our My Amazon Guy YouTube channel today. Thank you, Steven, says Gregor. Squeak says, I don't know, how do they charge full fees on both products for virtual product bundles? Yes, which kind of defeats the purpose of doing the virtual products from a cost-saving standpoint. They charge you the same. The tracking on it sucks. I want to help save the customer money with the bundle, but the double fees prevents that pretty much. You're correct. The only thing that you could do is to box it yourself. That is, take your two items. So let's say I'm selling, this is the way, and I'm going to sell my mag cup like this. Putting these both in the same box is the only way to save on the logistics fees. There's no cost savings to do a virtual bundle at all. Eli says, I sent an email to Jeff about my product category change. They changed it to a different one, but still not the one my product belongs in. File another ticket. You have to keep escalating. Clearly, they've got a breakdown on categorization right now. Big problem. Blaine says, happy Friday. You guys are awesome. Well, thank you. Appreciate that. I've got a ton of duplicate images in the A+ content asset library I want to delete. How do I permanently delete images from the asset library? All right. This is a question I've never been asked before. I've also never tried to delete assets before in the A+ content module. Let's see if we can go figure it out. Let's go over to advertising, A+ content. And I don't even know how to access the module. So let's see if we can figure that out too. Let's just go into one of my newest listings. I'm launching a Bennifer cup. Something about Ben and Jennifer getting married or something. Right. Okay. So let's hit, is it under related content? Nope. We're going to hit edits and let's go hit edit on a listing image and let's hit add. I don't even know. Where are we going to get to this? The asset library. How do we even get there? So I'm not seeing a way to load it. I thought I could figure this out on the fly. Not doing well today. Let's see. Add module. Boom. Click. Add photo. Click. All right. We got the asset library to load. All right. Head in the right direction. Okay. So in here, how do we delete something out? Details? No. I don't think there is a way. Based on what I'm seeing here, no delete button. And when you go click on it, there's no delete button there either. So I think you're out of luck on that one. Now, here's the good news. If you made your asset library very well, right? So if we type in Bennifer, if my team was loading these graphics and labeling them correctly, when we type it in the asset library, we would find it. Not really that big of a deal if the photos aren't correctly labeled, but I do think it would be helpful. So you could add some tags in here like this. So let's type in Bennifer as a tag, hit the plus sign. I've never done this before. We need to set the alt text. So Ben, Jennifer getting married, right? We'll hit add. Okay. And add. Now I'm going to delete that because I actually didn't want the new module. But now that we have that in there, if we click on add module, click on add photo, can we type in Bennifer and have it show up? Yes. So if you set the alt text of a photo like this, you can get it successfully to show up when you search it. So I think that's probably the best way to do it. I don't know if my team has set the alt text yet. Looks like that one's good. They did good on that one. Let's hit edit on this. That one's good. So that's kind of what I would do with that. Delete. Nope, not possible. Let's go to Janessa's real quick. So thanks for joining us on the channel. Follow up to your question. Only 2 of my 6-cent variations show in my listings. Yes, I have stock. So all 6 are in stock, but only 2 showing up. I wonder if there is a data problem then. So Janessa, when you click on the 4 that are not showing up, what happens to them? Do they have a lost dogs page? If so, they have a yank. Are they showing up but by themselves? So they're orphaned, they're not in the parentage. Then you just need to reload the parentage file. Error 8803, your feed has a parent-child relationship between parent SKU X and child SKU Y that cannot be created. Your child SKU shares the same variation attribute with another child ASIN. Okay, I know your problem. Now that I get that further context, I know your problem. You need to set, so let's say that your parentage type is size. You need to set 1 to small, medium, large. If you had 2 for medium, you couldn't connect those unless you had a dual parentage where you had size, medium, and medium, but color, red, blue. Does that make sense? So if when you look at a parentage file, the way that you loaded the data was not correct. You need to file a new template file upload and make sure that each variation has its own custom variation. So each has its own size. If there's 2 with the same size and you're trying to do color, then you have to do a dual color size parentage and then do color filled in uniquely. But there has to be 1 unique variation. Otherwise, it won't connect. So yeah, we diagnosed your problem, Janessa, 100%. Hamza says, most relevant keyword isn't performing well in phrase or broad match campaigns. Not exact. Will negative exact affect my campaign performance because I'm negating a most relevant but bad performing keyword? Well, let's see if we can diagnose this one a little bit. So the keyword's not performing well in phrase or broad. It is performing well in exact. So if you negate the exact affect the campaign performance because I'm negating a most relevant but bad performing keyword. I think you're going to have to test this one to see what the data says. That's the safe answer. I don't exactly know what you're going to experience on this because I need to know what the keyword is. I need to understand the product really to make a really good gauge on this. But just speculating a little bit, negating a word will not affect the performance of a campaign depending on how you do it, right? There's two ways to negate a word. You can negate a word with phrase match, or you can negate it with exact match. If you negate the word with exact match and you negate the word beer glass, I can still advertise on beer glass, this is the way, or this is the way glass. But if somebody types in beer glass, it won't show up. Negating it by phrase, however, if I negate the word phrase match beer glass, any combination of beer glass will never show up. So you might want to do an exact match negation and see what happens. Want to get ranked on my long brand name, present in copy, and reviews, but I'm not even indexed against it. I'm running PPC, but not showing, not even any other ad on it. What strategy to follow? So here's the good news. Most likely nobody's looking for your brand name. That's the good news. The bad news is it's probably going to take you 2 months to correctly index and rank for your brand name. I think it'll happen naturally. I don't think you need to take any special precautions or actions. Make sure you have your brand store created. Maybe send a little bit of traffic to the brand page and see if people will connect and make the purchases. Make sure you have brand registry, and you should be okay. But honestly, I don't think you're probably gonna take 2 months on this one, no matter what actions you take. I've been in this exact situation before, and that's what I've seen for those. It's just because there's no customer interaction. Amar from LinkedIn says, how do you select the design so you can profitably from day one outpace your competition? Also, how to capture maximum market share in a short time? Well, the easy answer is spend like $10,000 on PPC. That's the easy answer to capture market share. But how to be profitable from day one while simultaneously out-competing your competitor and catching the most market share, that is simply not possible. You need to pick one or the other. They are at odds. They fight each other. Profit is over here and market share is over here, and they fight, right? So which one are you? What is your number? On a scale of 1 to 10, if you think to yourself right now, 1 being profit at the cost of growth and 10 being growth at the cost of profit, what is your number? If you said 10, you're going to spend a buttload on PPC. You're going to lower your price down. You're going to go for market share. If you said 1, your ads probably are off, right? So most people watching this, they're probably going to be a 6 is probably the average I usually get when I ask these questions. I want to be growing, but I don't want to be unprofitable while I'm growing too much. So know your number, make decisions accordingly based on that. Let's jump to our big donation coming from Ruben. Thank you, sir. You're always so kind in donating to the channel. I really appreciate that, Ruben. Hi, Steven. We have Amazon misspelling the brand name. The brand name is Caire. When we type in Caire Beauty or Caire Skin, Caire, it changes to Caire or Caire Beauty, which affects our sales. Brand has awareness. So we're gonna do this live. Let's demonstrate the problem. So we've got Caire Beauty Caire. Let's try that. See what comes up. So yes, it auto corrected it just like that. And let's do Control F to see if we can find the brand name. No dice. So I'm replicating your problem. I see it firsthand here, Ruben. Now we're going to take just Caire Beauty like this and see what comes up. Control F, and we get the brand headline ad, which is good, but no organic, none whatsoever. That's bad. All right, let's do the next thing. Let's type in the autocomplete. How does the autocomplete do? How in the world does Amazon have the autocomplete working, but the search result page sucking? I don't understand that at all. That's just ridiculous. Okay, so here's what I would do if I were you. I would take screenshots showing the results, showing what you typed in and what's in the quotation marks. and it's auto showing there. Now, sometimes right here, you see this search instead for Caire Beauty. The consumer will eventually have to do this to start seeing it. That's the bad news. I have fought this myself for lengthy periods of times with my brand name called Monster. And here you go. I have the same problem. Mobster autocorrects to Monster, and the consumer has to click the button to change the autocorrect. And even though we clicked the autocorrect, Monster Energy Drinks is all over my search results right here. They're even spending video ads on my brand name. So that is a big challenge. We have fought this for 2 years, and you can still see I have this challenge. This is probably a challenge that's going to persist for you, Ruben, no matter what you do. That's the bad news. The good news is you can totally ticket this. I have ticketed this, and I do get sometimes within 3 or 4 days, I will see a different result. So the way you're going to file this ticket, you're going to go to Amazon, and you're going to say, hey, I need you to correct the search logic. The search logic is currently auto-correcting my brand name. And as you can see, we have thousands of sales on this brand name, and you even have auto-completes. But when somebody clicks on the autocomplete, they're not even getting our brand name. So the logic makes 0 sense, Amazon. And I need you to correct this. And here's some screenshots to prove what I'm talking about. Now, first response you're going to get is going to be totally bogus. You're going to escalate that. Second response, you're going to say, no, seriously, this is a real big problem. Here is the user behavior. According to Amazon's own desire to serve the customer, this does not serve the customer. You need to fix this. Now, go ahead and file that. Don't hold your breath. But on occasion, we'll get somebody that responds to the ticket and says, hey, we've sent this to the search engine team at Amazon. Now, here's the problem. The search engine team at Amazon has nothing to do with seller support. So it's an email-only department, and they do not have any metrics or have to listen to the seller support. So you're going to do all this, and then you're going to escalate it after you've gone through the regular motions. Then you're going to escalate it to Jeff at Amazon, share the same thing, put your merchant token in the email, put your case ID and all of the information that you provided, and then ask them for desired resolution. Now, the stinky thing is that even when this gets fixed, 60 days later, it's going to revert. That's the bad news, Ruben. So sorry to give you bad news today. This is definitely a problem, but it is not one that the system is willing to correct, unfortunately. Leon says, great to be here. Janessa says, hi, Stephen. I just created a removal order for my product because I suspect that I've got a bad batch in my inventory. When is the best time for me to send stock back in? Here's what I would do. I would duplicate the SKU on the same ASIN. I would ship into the new SKU immediately and try and orphan the inventory between the two. So you're going to do a removal order on the original SKU, ship into the new SKU, and that's how I would segregate it out. Close the new SKU until the old SKU is taken care of, or close the old SKU and open the new SKU. Actually, that would make more sense. Close the old SKU, open the new SKU. That way you get that new inventory going as fast as possible. Ruben says, thanks a lot for the advice. You're very welcome. Mohammed says, hi, Stephen. Competitor recently infringed me because I mistakenly used his trademark in the title. I edited the title, sent a complete POA, but keep on rejecting my POA and sending the same response. So a good POA has 3 things: identify the problem, fix the problem, and prevent the problem. What are the 3 things that you've done to address those things in the plan of action? Keep filing tickets, keep saying, please reinstate me. Here's literal proof that I'm now compliant, and I won't add it back to my title. And I've put these following things in place to prevent it from happening again. And you will eventually get it back live, but you've got to get to the right person. Escalate. Keep filing those tickets. Eventually you'll get through. You just got to beat down a brick wall sometimes, unfortunately. What is BSR measured by? So I actually asked this on LinkedIn. We had 1,000 people vote on this question. It was a really fun poll. The poll question was, how is BSR measured? Is it by units? Is it by number of orders? So is it by velocity? Does it depend on sessions, clicks, conversion rates, more? And here's the answer. Nobody knows. However, here's what logic dictates. Velocity, the number of units being sold, the amount of the price tag of the item. So a higher price item has a more high likely of getting higher in the BSR, just because it's moving more dollars. And then the conversion rates, the number of people that are purchasing it, the traffic on the listing, all of those combined together will affect this. Now, Helium 10 and other tools, they'll use like estimations on sales. Like, so if you go to a random listing, for example, and I went ahead and clicked on Monster Energy drinks just because they're spending money on my brand name. So sometimes you'll see like an estimate on the number of units that are being sold. It's taking a second to populate here, but essentially they're using that estimate based on the BSR. It's within 20% accuracy, in my opinion. And the way that they're most likely doing it is almost entirely based on velocity. So it's not loading on that product. We'll try a different one. Let's see if it loads from the Helium 10. Taking a while to load today. No dice on that today, but that's how they calculate it most likely. Logic dictates it's going to be a combination factor. It's not just going to be one metric. Arslan says, greetings, beginner advice for new agency owners just starting hiring the first employee. So make sure your first employees are highly detailed. Agencies are all about deliverables. If you hire a non-detailed person as your first hire, you will get client complaints immediately. Agencies are all about non-stop deliverables. And so typically speaking, unless you're in a sales position, you need to be a detail-oriented individual to do a good job at an agency. Other advice I might have, when you think about that for a second, make sure that you have a plan. So map out, like, where do you want to be in 3 months? Hire in advance. If you're hiring to catch up, it is a miserable existence. You need to hire in advance. This is why earlier this year, we hired more than 100 interns in Q1 of this year, which was a phenomenal, big, hairy, audacious goal. The reason I did it is because I was growing so fast that I basically did the math, and I figured that I could convert more interns into full-time roles faster and train them myself than I could hire them ordinarily. And because I did that, I was able to grow a gigantic amount this year. We're talking like 50% growth year to date. Massive amount of growth at my Amazon guy right now. But because I hired in advance, the pain level is not up here. It's a nice sustainable level down here. If you guys want to apply to my Amazon guy, if you want to get an internship, go to myamazonguy.com/internships. You can also peruse all of our careers by going to the jobs page, myamazonguy.com/jobs as well. We're hiring always. We have evergreen positions. And the reason for that is we are constantly growing. And so these are all new positions. We're adding body count. We have more than 300 employees at my Amazon guy. Some things you can do to improve your odds of getting hired is take one of the mag school courses and get certified. You can get certified in PPC design. We have the newest launch course today on launching on Amazon, brand new course there. Logistics course, they're like on Monday, they're getting rid of the old shipping module, so you're going to need that course. You can build variations. This might be a helpful one for Junessa today. Whole course on building parentage and variations, catalog, design, PPC, reviving sales, you name it, SEO, and even our newest one with all the infographics and all the sales tips. So check those out. Also, we are launching sellercentraljobs.com. It is not live at this very moment, but it's coming very soon. I'm hoping to have this live as early as next week. It's going to be both for employers like an agency trying to hire their first employee, as well as for workers. It's going to be free for everybody trying to find a job. And you're going to be able to load your mag school certificates, all that cool stuff. And then for employers, you're going to be able to sort by nationality. You're going to be able to sort by who's completed the PPC course, because I want to hire somebody that completed the mag school PPC course. So here's your warning, guys. Get those certificates done, because this is coming very soon. And we have a huge community in many, many parts of the world. So sellercentraljobs.com, that's coming next week. Don't fill anything out today. It's a work in progress. We're not ready. How to change Amazon's barcode to manufacturer's barcode. Listing is over a year live in Amazon, and printing Amazon labels and sticking to each unit seems to be a hassle. So I don't know for sure, Topi, but if you're in the certain categories, you have to use the FN SKU label. If you're in a consumable or topical category, so if you put it on your body, it's a skincare item, or you consume it, you're drinking, eating it, you have to have the FN SKU label. If you're in any other category, you might be able to get away with the barcode. And what you would do is you would create a new SKU on the same ASIN and convert it over to manufacturer barcode. By the way, we do have a guide on barcodes, and I will put that in the chat. Sometimes whenever I'm trying to find my own stuff, I'll just go to Google and I'll just type in topic plus my Amazon guide. And I have not typing the right thing in here. So let's do label my Amazon guide. Let's see if we can find it. Nope, not getting what I want on that search. I have a full label guide. Why isn't that not showing at the top of Google, though? Should be a pretty easy one to find. UPC barcode guide. Let's try that. So there's a UPC barcode guide. The matching issue. How to change UPC codes. That one's a huge pain. Amazon FBA barcode labels full guide. This is the one you need to watch to learn what needs a label and all about that. So check that guide out. Just post that in the chat for you. Adil says, if we're getting good clicks and good CTR, but not conversion, what should I do? So that means your main image is fine, but your listing is not. So the secondary images, the title, the bullets, the A+ content need to be the main focus. There is something that the consumer is interested in the main image, but when they get to the page, they're not seeing it. If anybody has this situation, paying the $10 sticker for us to do an ASIN review, highly recommend it. I'll go in there and I'll see if I can troubleshoot exactly what to change to the listing. We had a phenomenal listing optimization video that we dropped on Monday. Go super in depth. We talk about some of these top selling listings that are not doing well. You definitely want to check that one out. It's on the channel on the Monday. It's called the listing optimization video. We had a really fun time making that one. I made fun of a lot of listings when we did that. And you really ought to change the secondary images and figure out why are consumers anxious about actually adding your product to the cart. There's a problem there. You're going to need to fix it. It's going to be on the listing. Topi says, how much is the minimum spend for a keyword before adding them as a negative? I usually go for somewhere around $30 to $50, depending on the product and the price point, and 20 clicks. If you have that amount of data and you don't have a sale yet, there's a pretty good indication you should negate it, or at least partially negate it. And what you can do is you can go to the search term report and really get a lot of data on this. So I'm going to pop up over to the search term report. This is the best way to lower down your costs every week, is to go into the search term report, especially on the autos and the brand match and broad matches. Right. So I'm going to go into my Megapint auto campaign. I'm going to click into the ad group, and you'll notice I recently negated these three things: beer mug, tumbler, and a specific ASIN. And I figured this out the other day by going to the search term report, sorting this by last 65 days, and then sorting it by spend. So I have spent $8,000 in spend on this one auto campaign pushing my Megapint cup. And in here, if you look at my base ACOS of 47%, anything that's significantly higher than 47% needs to be looked at, right? So Johnny Depp, I want to rank on that for SEO purposes. I'm willing to spend 74% on that. Johnny Depp merchandise did okay. Megapint, 23% ACOS. Obviously, somebody looking for Megapint, clicking on my product, I'm going to do well with that. But as we scroll down and look through the list, occasionally something's going to show up that's got a really bad ACOS. For example, this ASIN right here, this skull coin necklace. We spent $55 and only have one order at a 300% ACOS. It's a glaring example. Same with beer mug right there. So these, and you can click on the product and see like, okay, somebody looking at this, they're going to go on a Megapint cup. Okay, it's a little piratey. Sure, I get it. But no, that's not going to be a good product for me to advertise on. So I'm going to go in and negate it. And here is a case example of the amount of spend. I've spent $55, one click, 57 clicks. Clearly not a good thing for me to advertise on. So I'm going to negate that out, and I'm going to be significantly healthier on my advertising moving forward. The word Tumblr, another case example, 22 clicks, 27 in spend, no orders. I'm going to go over to negative targeting. I'm going to add that as, oh, I already did actually, and a negative exact match. And so you look at the search term data and you can figure that out to see what's never going to convert. Now, let's say we didn't have enough data on that specific word. Well, you could put in the search term and you could filter and get multiple and dozens of words with the same information on it to eventually get the idea. Here's another one. Sony Brothers Ruby's Demon Killing Knife. Well, geez Louise, that's weird. Like, why is that showing up in the auto campaign? I don't know. But if we go ahead and negate it, we're going to save lots of money. Insulated wine tumbler. There's another one. So these are the next ones I'm going to negate. I'm going to go over negations, add negative keyword, add keyword, save. Okay. Then I'm going to go back. There was a second one in here. Sometimes in certain campaigns, they'll let you negate it right in the campaign itself, which is helpful. Pint glasses, insulated tumblers, insulated wine tumbler. None of these are going to do well for me, right? So if we open up a notepad to kind of go back and forth here a little bit, I'm going to copy and paste them in, right? So insulated. Here's a case example of exactly what I was talking about, right? So the word insulated is showing up multiple times in multiple ways. So if we go up to the top, we type in insulated right here, we're going to probably find hundreds of dollars in wasted ad spend. 100% ACOS. Here you go. Is there anything worth advertising in here? Well, apparently when I have a with lid, it does okay. Insulated mug did okay. But for the most part, these are all generic words that probably should not be advertised on. These are not going to work for me. So insulated mug for beer, some of these things, pretty much none of these are going to ever convert for me. So I'm probably going to just negate the word insulated. However, I don't want to negate Johnny Depp insulated cup. So here's the one counter to that. That's when we're going to lose a sale. But by and large, 99% of this pirate insulated cup, yeah, that's probably okay. So you could do a lot of negations on the exact matches here. So if we exported this list right here, this is probably what we'll end up doing. So this is a great case example of how to do auto campaign cleanups, right? So we got all of the insulated keywords in here. We're going to copy and paste all of these. We're going to go over to the negative targeting. We're going to hit add negatives. We're going to add exacts. And in here, we're going to remove the Johnny. Right? We don't want to do that one. And we want to keep the pirate one. So we're going to delete that one off. Any other pirates? All right, that's good. So I found 45 targets. I kept 2, and we're going to negate 43 of these and just do kind of a slow cursory view to see if there's anything else in here that we want to keep. Nope. All right, add keywords. Boom. I just added 48 negative keywords just like that. That is how you decide when to negate a keyword on an auto campaign, just like that. And that's my brother. Happy Friday. Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. Tofi says, thank you. Very detailed explanation. Great insights to consider. You're very welcome. Jordan Lee says, at launch with low reviews, is it best to target lower volume, highly relevant search terms until social proof and then target broader, higher search volume keywords? Absolutely, yes. However, I have use cases to prove the opposite is also true. So I would do both and see what the data says. For example, you guys have heard me talk a lot about this product. It's one of my most successful products I've ever done. I've made well over $200,000 in sales, in net profits on this item. And this particular item, when I launched it, I spent $11,000 in ads, and I'm going off memory here, but I think it's $5,000 of that was on the broad match gifts for mom. And we generated $144,000 in the first 30 days. So if that's the case, then obviously a broad match can work too. I think broad match is super underrated and you should do it. But when you're first launching the product out, you need to launch every campaign type and let the data dictate what you keep doing. However, in the first 2 weeks, I think broad matches are phenomenally a good idea if you have the money to do it. If you don't have the money, obviously it's a different question, right? Like you got to make a decision based on your particular goals. But if you spend money on broad match advertising, you're going to be so much better off because you're going to have the capacity to index faster. Indexing for more organic keywords, really, really helpful. What's the best way to get the message to the consumer via your Amazon listing when you have improved your product based off of negative reviews from consumers? Bullet points, images, new description, all of the above, Edwin. You're going to want to put it in the title. You're going to want to put it in the images, new and improved, upgraded, new version, 2022 new version. Just plaster this everywhere you can, Edwin. I think that would be a very, very helpful thing for you. Says, when should I increase bids for my keywords after starting a manual PPC campaign? Every day I check my campaign. Amazon shows a different suggested bids. May I know why, how Amazon determines it? So the market shifts up and down. That's pretty normal. Your product will get some discounts off of the bids depending on how well it converts. Amazon will give you rotation based off a variety of factors, including click-through rate, conversion, and many other factors, and whether the keyword is relevant. So when should you increase your bids? It depends. Are you not getting enough impressions? And is your ACOS low enough? Make a formula. If yes and no, raise it up, right? If you're not getting enough impressions, but your ACOS is low enough, raise the bid. That's kind of the formula that we use generically. Coming off LinkedIn from Adnan. I launched a product, but conversion rate very low due to no review. Can you please guide me about reviews, how to get some reviews, even paid? So you could check out the Vine program. That does cost money. Honestly, I am of the proponent that you do not need reviews to launch a product. I'll refer to Exhibit A right here, where I launched with basically no product reviews. I had one product review for the first 30 days, essentially. And I did very, very well because it was relevant. And I went to market with the product that nobody else had, right? And I hit an upstream. So it's possible. But if you're going to market with the same thing everybody else is during a non-seasonal time, it's going to be rough. You're going to need to blow through a couple hundred units with low dollar amounts. The best thing you can do when you launch a product is launch it as low as price possible and just burn through sales. Get some unit sales going. Best thing you can do. Sign Viable Music says, I have an oversized item trying to send 500 units, 80 cartons. If I send 500 with Amazon IPS, it will cost me $650 more. Is there a way to get to one warehouse? Is there any way to get only a specific warehouse? So the inventory placement service, or IPS, is built to do exactly what you're trying to do. And if you don't do it, you're going to split the inventory to multiple warehouses, which is ideal. However, it will cost more if they're sending them to farther locations. Here's what you can do. Create the shipment of 200 units and say it's got one carton when you first go through the first shipment location. I don't know if this is possible in the new UI, but in the old UI it is. And they're getting rid of that UI basically next month. So if you put in one carton, 200 units on the first screen, at the later screen, you can then put in the correct carton sizes and you'll be just fine. And you can only have 200 units in one carton, which is why I selected that number. And then you can be a little bit more selective. So that is literally the only thing you can do. The other thing is don't use FBA, maybe do FBM if you're really worried about it, but that's going to hurt your prime sales. Are the courses in Mag School pre-recorded videos or live training sessions? So nothing is live today at Mag School. It is more self-dedicated work. It's an organization of information. There are supplemental videos, but you can pass every single course without watching a single video. The videos are not the course. The course is meant to be text-based so that you can understand, learn it almost like a textbook. There's nothing live today. This is the live version, right? Like I do live Q&As like this. Should we come out with some live tutoring and professorships? Probably. I don't know how to build that at this time or scale it, to be totally honest. Thanks, Steven. Another one. Better to direct traffic to store or listing page with Amazon attribution links. Product page all day long. Better conversion rate. No doubt about it. Hi, my client is asking for me to give a guarantee that our product will be profitable. What should I tell him in this situation? Tell him you can guarantee nothing. You cannot guarantee profits. Also, anybody looking for a profit guarantee is not going to be a good client. I promise you that. And they just have unrealistic goals and expectations. It is not possible. Typically, most people are not profitable on an average item for 8 to 12 months. They're building up the brand. They're building up the unit. They get all of their Q4 rush. They make all their profit there. Then the item has a lifespan of 2 years on average and starts to die down, right? So it's a very cyclical nature of product development. Very, very difficult. Abdul says, hello, Stephen. I'm an Amazon trainer. I need to ask perspective about up and down with 20% placement starting in auto. What about this idea? So I think that fixed bids is my cup of tea when first launching a product or new campaigns. I switch them over to up and down typically after 20 sales. Doing the 20% placement is fine, but doesn't work as well as it did 2 years ago. I think that top of search is not as important as it used to be for the amount you pay for it. That is specifically still obviously good. I've done a template upload and all sent variations of my product were successfully created. We did this one. I'm not a U.S. person, created a Seller Central account on my US LLC. Can I change the tax interview information? Yes, this is pretty safe to change. Not a big deal. Please enlighten us on relaunching a product. So this is when you're going to come back in stock or you're like taking an old listing and doing a 2.0. All of the launching guides apply to a relaunch. 100% of them do. Think of it as a honeymoon period, generate PPC sales like crazy, optimize the heck out of the full listing, soup to nuts. Justin says, can a child item on a parentage be in a different category to another child item of the same parent listing? No, cannot be in two parentages at the same time. Let's go back to the last question real quickly. So on relaunching products, we also have a Mag School course to go highly in depth on this. And that is the Reviving Sales Amazon course. So check that one out, Amar. That would be a very good one to help you out on this one. Can a child of an item be a nope? Nope, cannot. Buzz says, does product image file name matter in SEO? So we don't think so, but I wouldn't be surprised if it has a minor benefit. It has a benefit when you're loading a product image to like a WordPress because it sets it as the HTML title of the product or alt text title. So there is a very high probability there is some kind of impact here, but there's nothing in the code that I can prove to you that shows that impact. Since you mentioned inventory reimbursement, we launched a product last year. Amazon charged us oversized FBA tier for 6 months. Was actually standard. Is there a way to ask for reimbursement? 100% yes. Just show them the order ID list, do a template download, show them the exact amount to reimburse you, tell them the fee difference, and show them the math. They will reimburse you. This is an easy one. If you have any trouble with that, just let me know. I'll help you out with it. Ulesa says, I've just launched my product and PPC isn't working at all. Very low conversion, no suppressions, competitive pricing, listing is fully optimized. What's best? Just break even and sell, or so redo the main image. Start with that. And then the other thing is I would do some A/B tests and collect some feedback before you give up. Maybe you just need a new main image. When I first launched some of my best-selling products, I had to redo the main image 3 times. Once I finally did that, the item took off in the hundreds of sales, made a big difference. So that's really my best advice I'll give you. A/B test the heck out of it before you throw the towel in. I'm experiencing since right after Prime Day is Amazon flipping my ranks for almost all major keywords between 1 to 30 spots. I'm on the top spots for almost all keywords. Amazon kicks me from the top spots on sales time, then return back to spot after the evening. Competitor ASINs, which are on respective top spots, kick out as well with mine, but they aren't hurting much like I do. I'm treating it like a foster ASIN. So essentially what you're saying is there's a midnight shift on the search engine right now affecting your keyword rankings. I have personally witnessed this. However, I don't have a solution for you, unfortunately. I'm so sorry about that. Blocked the user in the chat spamming porn websites. Sorry if anybody saw that. I've got them, though. I've launched my product and PPC just isn't working at all. A/B test. We did this one. All right, let's do 3 more questions, Geraldine. It says, what is the best campaign method when you're launching multiple variations in a parent? It's about PPC. So spend 80% of your PPC on your best seller. If you don't know what your best seller is, guess. If you've got 3 colors, black, red, and blue, it's always black. If you've got 3 sizes, small, medium, and large, it's always medium, right? Like spend all of your money on one variation and go all in on it. If it's the lowest cost option, spend money on it. That's the best way to focus your PPC because you want to have more units turn, more unit sales specifically on one variation. A lot of parentage theory behind this. You can, and if you're not sure, separate the campaigns out, see which one does best. You can always shift from product A to product B if the data says to do that. Rehan says, how to unmerge variations. I got 2 listings with color variations. Few of their colors are merged with each other. This is a very difficult task, and there is a drop down in brand support to do this. It might be a little difficult to navigate, but I'm going to try and do it for you. So we're going to go over to the help file. You click help on the top right. You can search the help like this and say split product. Let's see if we get anything on the help files. Nope, not very good. Okay, split different products into different pages. There's the help file on this. And here you go. Here's the ASIN that's available and the ASIN to unmerge. We will review requests with a rapid response. How does splitting different products work? So if you have the original ASIN data, this is available in your business sales report. You can go to Sell by ASIN and find it. Put in both the 2 ASINs here and unmerge them. Now, if you don't have that data, you can browse for your issue, products listing, and inventory issues, merge, duplicate, or split product pages, and you want to select split product page right here. And the search file actually got us to the same module right here. How about that? Seller support help file actually helpful. That's nice. And in here, type in the ASINs, click continue. You'll have to fight very hard to get the split to go through, though. Sorry about that. Dante says, I applied for brand registry for my brand. It got denied. Tried to reapply it. It's giving me brand name still in review. So we actually answered this one a half hour ago, but just for 30-second review, keep filing the application. File tickets escalate. It'll eventually go through. Nader says, hello, I have a good background in PPC ads selling on Amazon. How can I start getting clients to run PPC ads for them? So, well, word of mouth, right? Posting on social, hey, looking to take on PPC clients, posting on Upwork, other sites. But for me, when I first started my agency, LinkedIn was the best platform for me in the first 48 hours. But for the first 2 years, it was YouTube. Posting videos explaining your PPC methodology and explaining how you do things and articulating it led to our phenomenal success. Today, we have over 330 full-service active clients at My Amazon Guy, where we're managing their PPC, millions of dollars in active PPC management, both on sponsored products and otherwise. So that's how we did it. And you have to build a repertoire. You got to build those examples over time. All right. So I think we got time for one last question today. It was phenomenal having to you. And if you like today's show, please add a comment on this video. Slam the like button. And tell other people to join us next Friday at noon Eastern Standard Time. Every Friday, we're doing AMAs. And tell me, what did you like about today's show? Throw that in the comments section. What did you learn? And our last question today comes from Joshua Cruz. Hey, it's not a Seller Central question. How long should I wait to reapply for your internship? I just finished your PPC course and got the certificate. Well, first of all, congratulations on passing that certificate. We hire primarily for culture at My Amazon Guy, and reapplying, generally speaking, does not result in a different outcome. I'm really sorry to tell you that, which is why we have Seller Central jobs coming. This is launching hopefully next week. We're going to help you find employers that will hire you because you're a valuable employee. It just may not have been a perfect fit for us, and we can't hire everybody. So if you want to get hired at My Amazon Guy, go to myamazonguy.com/jobs. Thank you, everybody. We love you so much. That's the show today. Don't forget, throw a comment on. If you're watching this on the replay, ask a question. I'll come back. I read all the questions myself. And let us know, what did you learn? What did you like? All right, guys, we'll see you